Well, hello there. Welcome to Broken World Entertainment. And another Star Wars movie under Disney is dead. Yep, Rogue Squadron, the movie that was going to be from Patty Jenkins of Wonder Woman fame, has been completely removed from the release schedule. And let's jump into an article about this. So Star Wars Rogue Squadron axed from Disney's film lineup. Perhaps as a signal that Disney is finally realizing the limitations of owning the popular Star Wars franchise, the company has decided to axe Rogue Squadron from the release calendar. This is a major blow for a company that has boldly invested time and resources into several prominent tie-in shows, only to see diminishing returns. Variety broke the news in an article that tried its best to downplay the cancellation of the film, citing the fact that it was removed from the Disney's production schedule back in 2021. However, subsequent evidence pointed to the fact that Rogue Squadron would be a sure thing, which is why the sudden cancellation is profound. Director Patty Jenkins was to direct the spin-off film focusing on a story about the Rebel Alliance's titular X-Wing squadron. Though many fans questioned whether modern Disney could manage such a simple feat in the wake of 2019's disastrous Rise of Skywalker. Disasters is an understatement for what that movie done to the franchise. And not just it. You can't overlook The Last Jedi. So, there's some chatter that Rogue Squadron was merely put on the back burner and could see a future release. However, this doesn't seem likely, especially given that the film was already delayed due to, get this, scheduling conflicts with Patty Jenkins back in 2021. There was zero scheduling conflicts. None. She put Wonder Woman 3 on the back burner to specifically go and work for Disney to do Star Wars. So how's there a scheduling conflict? There couldn't have been. Because she already said to Warner Brothers, we're not going to jump directly into Wonder Woman 3 right away. I've got this other project. And Warner Brothers said okay to that. So, no, there was no scheduling conflict. What the story that came out was that she started butting heads with A1 Kathleen Kennedy. That Kathleen Kennedy wasn't happy with the direction Patty was taking it in because it wasn't female focused. So keep that in mind when you hear people trying to defend it, saying, oh, there was conflict of this and that and blah, 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 blah. No. So, to compensate, Disney is reportedly refocusing its efforts on the live-action remake of Snow White, featuring the egregiously racist Rachel Ziegler, as well as Inside Out 2 and the Lion King sequel. It's actually a prequel, Mufasa. All three of which are scheduled for release in 2024. This one, Rachel Ziegler, ended up having to delete a ton of tweets and everything. Just look at her Twitter and you'll see just how fucking nuts she is. It's worth noting the irony of Disney mothballing a feature-length Star Wars film in favour of its own in-house properties. But that's not surprising given the lackluster performance of the franchise under Disney's direction. Currently, the company seems to be repurposing Star Wars for the home television market, soldiering forward with new series like Tales of the Jedi, which is basically a fucking Ahsoka show to go along with a live action Ahsoka show. The Acolyte, which comes from Leslie Headland, the personal former assistant of Harvey Weinstein, and season 3 of the flagship series The Mandalorian, which just looks like the first season of The Mandalorian. It's also not the first time Disney has abandoned plans to bring Star Wars back to the silver screen. Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly's episode 9 treatment, Duel of the Fates, was put to rest when they exited the project. They weren't exited, they were fired, paving the way for the rise of Skywalker to conclude the Disney trilogy. And of course, if you see the actual art, the, what do you call them? Why can't I remember? Total brain fart. The art they done for the film. That name has not the name of the film. Jesus, why can't I remember? Meh, you know what I mean. Looked fantastic. So I still wasn't on board with Colin Trevorrow doing the movie, you know, but he seemed to have maybe had a bit more respect for it. So similarly, the DCEU alum Zack Snyder was set to direct Rebel Moon. Well, he is directing Rebel Moon. It's a Netflix film now. But get this, which was originally conceived as a Star Wars story more than a decade ago. So he actually pitched Rebel Moon as a Star Wars movie. And at the time, Fox and Lucasfilm just kept shooting it down. But Disney canned it shortly after acquiring Lucasfilm in 2012. Other notable cancellations include a planned sequel to the lackluster Solo, a Star Wars movie. Lackluster, as Jeremy and Geeks and Gamers would always say, hashtag Solo lost money. Huge amount of money. And a new Star Wars trilogy that was to be helmed by Rian Johnson. However, they have never announced that they are not moving forward with the Rian Johnson trilogy. And I'll get back to that in a second. At this point, only 2 feature Star Wars projects are rumoured to be in development, helmed by MCU alum Kevin Feige and Taika Waititi, which Kathleen Kennedy has constantly said there's actually no plans yet, particularly with Feige moving forward. And does anyone want to see a buddy Taika Waititi Star Wars? Did anyone watch Thor Love and Thunder? I just watched it the other day and Jesus Christ, that movie is terrible. It is dog shit. But back to the Rian Johnson part. The reason they have not announced that thing, it's not happening, not a hope is it happening, it's because they know if they were to announce it, they prove the fans were right. When the fans stood up watching The Last Jedi and went, what the hell is this? What have you done? Did you seriously just make Luke Skywalker a frightened little hobo living in exile, terrified to return to the real world? Really? And then what do you do? You OD him on the Force. Wow. It completely divided the fan base, completely divided fans from critics' opinions, and basically killed Star Wars outright. So they are terrified to actually turn around and say it's not happening, because they know the fans will go, see, we were right. And they don't want to admit that. And let's not also forget Dan and Dave of Game of Thrones fame. They were given a trilogy and they walked away. Walked away. Not from one movie, a trilogy. to go and work with Netflix. And guess what? There still ain't one goddamn thing from them at Netflix. So, Star Wars under Disney, under Kathleen Kennedy, is a disaster. And they can't keep hanging their hopes on The Mandalorian. They really can't, you know. Particularly seen as 2 episodes that were basically The Mandalorian in Book of Boba Fett. Completely undone everything that the end of Mandalorian Season 2 did. Where it was, okay, we gotta let Baby Yoda, Grogu, go with Luke Skywalker to be trained. See us out there, kid. And then it's just straight away, excuse me, just straight away, yeah, Grogu's back. Yeah, don't worry about the end of episode. It was just another way to fuck over Luke Skywalker, really. But anyway, I'll leave it there for this one, because Star Wars is truly dead at Disney. It really is. Alright, cheers. Catch you in the next one.